All right. Today we're going to talk about moms, but our topic rather, is going to be God's peace and strength for moms. Now, last Sunday, as you know, was Mother's Day, and there are classic Mother's Day messages and sentiments. And I wanted to look at something a little different today. I wanted to see and share what the scripture teaches about how to deal with a very important issue that moms deal with. We know motherhood is sacred, but we also know it's exhausting. And I want to emphasize and deal with the aspect of motherhood that deals with emotional and mental fatigue that moms deal with. Endless decisions, comparisons, conflicts, grief, relentless demands. It's always there. So we're going to look at what the scriptures say. How does a mom who's a believer handle and, more importantly, overcome these situations? Now, for our anchor verse today, we're going to have Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 and 7. I'm going to refer to this verse many times. So Philippians 4, 6, 7. I will read it for you now. You should memorize this verse, and we will refer to it many times, at least 5 or 6 times today. Verse reads, this is a verse from a letter that was written by Apostle Paul to the church in Philippi. Do not be anxious about anything. Memorize this verse. But in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. There is so much in this one verse, as there often is in scriptures, how deep and relevant and how much it applies to our everyday life. But notice the two things that God is promising in two areas. God is promising to give us comfort in our thoughts and in our feelings. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, meaning there should be no explanation for this peace. When you look at your situation and your circumstance, there will be no reason for you to be peaceful, but it's going to come from God. It transcends understanding. It doesn't make sense. And it will guard your hearts. In other words, those feelings that go crazy, at times the sadness or the anger or whatever it is, or the depression or the confusion or the relentless spinning thoughts and ideas and questions, it will guard your heart, feelings, and your minds, your thoughts. So it is likening it to a trade of sorts. You see, you're going to give your anxiety to God and receive God's peace. I used this illustration on Sunday. I said to moms, it's kind of like when your kid brings you his or her dirty laundry and receives the clean ones back. It's kind of like that. It's an exchange of sorts. So we go to God with our situation, with our anxieties and worries, and we ask him. And in turn, he gives us peace in our mind and in our hearts, in our thoughts and in our feelings. So in order to delve into this, what we're going to do is I'm going to look at 5 stories of different moms. Now, the names are made up, the situations are real. Okay. And in every different story, we will see a situation that moms struggle with. And we will see how the scriptures deal with this issue and gives the moms who are overwhelmed victory. Our first mom, meet Laura, a mom of a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. She is drowning in decision fatigue. Who can relate to this? Should she choose soccer or art classes? Is her daughter's cough serious? Should she give her this syrup, then that cold medicine? And is it bad or is it good? Is this going to affect her? The cartoons she watches, is it going to affect her future? Is the games that she's playing, etc.? It's never-ending, relentless decisions that moms need to always make. And because in our age, in our modern times of 2025, we have a lot more knowledge and wisdom than moms did in certain aspect 100 years ago. So there's a lot more for kids to do, and there are so many other ways that the kids need to be protected. So mom is constantly watching and thinking to protect this child. So she's constantly needing to make decisions. So as she's going through this tornado of questions in her mind, by the evening, she realized that she forgot to buy milk. So this becomes the breaking point for her. Now, in and of itself, forgetting to buy milk is not the end of the world. But because of all the things that she had to do during the day, all the little and big decisions she had to make, all the implications of the future effect of these decisions that she had to think about, she just snapped. She was probably sleep deprived anyway and tired. So the mental load that constant choices demand on a mom is crushing at times. So, but this is what Laura did. Laura remembered that God sees her. And she remembered Psalm 46, verse 1. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. When the decisions pile up, God is your safe haven, and He is near. And this next verse I'm going to read is very important for moms to remember. Isaiah 40, verse 11. Describing God, Isaiah explains, He tends His flock like a shepherd. He gathers the lambs in His arms and carries them close to His heart. And this is the part, don't miss it. He gently leads those that have young. Did you get that? This is a picture of God looking at His children and looking at moms. How is He? Guiding moms who have young like a gentle shepherd, guiding you through your overwhelm. When you're going through a bunch of stuff, when you're at the end of yourselves, there are a million decisions to be made. Stop. Remember, your God sees you and He is leading you gently through these turmoils, these things. Yes, you will feel overwhelmed at times, but pause and remember Philippians 4:6. What did we say? Don't be anxious about anything. But in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will, it's a promise, guard your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. Remember, He is your strength. Remember, He is gently leading you through these situations. And
Pastor
as Laura,
Steve,
yes,
I'm sorry to interject.
yeah,
May I ask a question in regards to that statement?
sure. Do you want to hold on so
Yes,
we could do that,
absolutely.
but please don't forget the question.
I'm gonna forget, so I'll write it down and then.
Okay, write it down, please.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. Laura paused and she listed her worries to God, and she started also thanking. Remember, part of that verse, we're told to do bring your worries and anxieties and your desires, the problems and the solutions you're seeking, but also thanksgiving. So Laura paused, prayed, listed her worries, and she started thanking God for her family's health and so many other things. Just like we read in Philippians 4, 6, and 7. And this peace washed over her. And then once that peace comes over you, you can start thinking rationally. And then she made some pragmatic decisions like meal plans and such to make her life easier. Now, what happens is in our humanness, what we like to do is we want to pray to God for 30 seconds or 5 seconds, and we want that peace to come right away. Sometimes it happens, a lot of times it doesn't. So I'm encouraging you and asking you, when you find yourself in that situation and you want to grab onto God's promise of Philippians 4, 6, 7, start praying, asking the Lord, telling Him your frustration, your situations, the things that you need help with, your worries, your anxieties. Ask Him for His help and start thanking for the good things He has given you. This is a process. Sometimes it takes minutes, sometimes it takes longer. But I want to emphasize this. Until you get to the peace that transcends all human understanding, don't stop. Because within the prayer process, God is doing something in you. That's where He wants you. That's where He can interject into your soul. That's where you're going to get a lot of your insights into yourself. So remember this. This was not the last time that she had to do that, but because she now learned how to overcome, she could deal with the future a lot easier. Our second mom, her name is Mia. She's a new mom. She's scrolling on Instagram. What a mistake. Immaculate homes that are Pinterest perfect, as they say. And as she's looking at all this, and she turns around and she sees her house a mess, her sink is full, and her baby is crying, and then she starts feeling inadequate. She's drained by the comparison. Social media stole her joy, leaving her anxious. This we talk a lot about social media. I don't want to keep talking about it in this forum too, but don't go there. What you see over there is not real. And I I told the young people a couple of days ago, I gave them a challenge. I said, look, I dare you to pay attention. I could almost with certainty say that every time you're scrolling on instant media, social media, when you turn it off, immediately look at how you're feeling. You will see that you're not happy, you're anxious, you're wired, you're down, you're frustrated. And what the vicious cycle is, because you think that's going to go away, you go back to it. It's kind of like an addiction. and that leaves you more frustrated and more anxious, and the whole process also changes your worldview and your standards and expectations and etc. So coming back to Mia, she sees these perfect moms with their perfect homes and perfect family. She thinks she's not good enough. She's not adequate. But remember 2 Corinthians 12:9. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in what? In weakness. Therefore I will boast, Apostle Paul says, all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. When you feel you're not enough, remember God's grace is enough. And Psalm 55:22 says, cast your cares on the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken. Mia prayed, confessed her insecurity, thanking God for her baby, and his peace, like he promised in Philippians 4:6-7, steadied her. She unfollowed a lot of accounts, etc., and she started serving in her church. They started this moms group, and she's still heading that endeavor. She no longer felt inadequate because of other people's comparisons. Our mom number 3 is Karen. She has a 16-year-old daughter. Her name is Sophie. She argues about everything. Argues about homework, argues about screen time, argues about food, argues about dresses, argues about, you name it, she argues about it. And everything turns into an argument. And one day after Sophie, the daughter, slams the door, Karen, the mom, replays the fight in her mind, feeling like a failure, feeling like she's losing her daughter. And an emotional toll this took on her was really heavy. But you gotta remember, God is near even in your conflict. Matthew 11:28. Jesus, I love this verse. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened. Does anybody here? Is anybody listening to this ever feel this way? You ever feel burdened, like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulder? Do you feel weary, like you just want to give up and run away sometimes? Jesus says to you, come to me. I will give you rest. Forget all that weariness and heavy burdens. He says, take my my way, want to say, my direction. Take up on you for your souls. Daily guide right there. I will All right, can you guys hear me?
I can't now. I don't know what happened. It turned black before.
It did. I lost the screen for a second. What was the last thing you guys heard?
It was breaking up a little, slight bit. Maybe that's why.
Yeah. I lost you entirely for like 3 minutes.
Oh, wow. Wow, 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 wow. What was the last thing you guys heard?
Um, which part was it? Oh,
The last thing I remember hearing was the argument, and then the in her head she was repeating the argument with her sister.
Right. Uh, in the meantime, how are we with time, Nora?
10 minutes, it says up there on top, if you see.
10 minutes. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see how this might be my internet connection. I don't know why, but I have to deal with that at some point. So, Karen, 16-year-old Sophie, they're constantly fighting, and Jesus says, "Come to me, O you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls." Jesus offers rest for the weary heart. So 2 Corinthians 12:9 reminds Karen that her weaknesses is where Christ's power shines. Karen prays, just like Philippians 4:6-7 teaches, asking for patience, thanking God for her daughter and her strengths and her good points. And then the peace that God promises came. And she started trying to rebuild her relationship with her daughter. And her mom, number 4, is Danielle. She's dealing with grief. She just a few weeks ago lost her mom to cancer. She's still grieving. She's still a mess. And in the midst of all this, she has a 7-year-old she's trying to raise. And she's a single mom. And when her son asks about grandma, she just breaks down and starts crying. And then she feels bad because she feels like she's not present enough for her son because of her grieving. So remember that God says that he's close to the brokenhearted. Do not grieve, for the joy of the Lord is your strength, says Nehemiah 8:10. God's joy lifts you even in sorrow. Psalm 55:22. He will sustain you. Danielle prayed, pouring her grief before the Lord, and started thanking God for her son's love. And not right away, but in a while, this peace washed over her. And then she started finding healing by sharing her mom with with her son, and they started building memories together. So she moved through this because of the peace of God. And the final mom we have is the situation we have is her name is Priya. She's a mom of an 8-year-old with autism. She's drained from coordinating therapies, IEP meetings. You know, those are the meetings that you meet the doctors, the teachers, the therapists, and the parents, and you look at all that stuff together all the time. See if there is anything working, is something not working. It's draining. And handling meltdowns is an issue for this mom. And one day, especially, even though this happens a lot, one day when he was having a meltdown, the 8-year-old with autism, the strangers, she said, started staring. And that really crushed her. She felt like she wasn't doing enough. She felt like she couldn't do enough to get her son to feel better. And this was crushing her mentally and emotionally. And then she remembered that the Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing, nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. And this is the part that highlighted her. He refreshes my soul. God restores your weary soul. And Isaiah 40:11 promised that he gently leads those with the young, including kids with unique needs. So Priya prayed, thanking God for her son's progress, and his peace that's promised in Philippians 4:6-7 steadied her. And then she found a group with similar moms to support each other. But it is through the promise of the scriptures that she first found peace and continues to find peace. So to all the moms with different issues that they're going through, I want to end with this. He is your refuge. His grace is enough. His joy is your strength. And he refreshes your soul. He gently leads you. He sustains you. He offers rest. And he guards your heart with peace. So pray daily, bringing your anxieties to him with thanksgiving. Embrace weakness, trust in God's grace. Seek God's joy through being in communion with him in small moments of gratitude to renew your strength. And rest in God's refuge. Moms, you are seen by God, you're loved by God, and you're held by God. He never grows weary, and I hope that his peace and strength will carry you as you get closer to him. All right. If you have any questions, let's jump in.